Fair warning, this show contains strong language and adult themes from time to time. Sorry, Jerry can't help it.
Sick Boy Wolfgang Productions presents The Offering with Jerry Horror. A deep dive into the history of film and its filmmakers. Mostly horror, always genre.
Attention horror movie buffs. Remember the good old days back when Netflix would actually deliver physical media to your mailbox? How often do you find yourself reminiscing about those trips to your local video store, sifting through every single collection, discovering a movie treasure that you've never seen before? If niche is your knack, then Mailbox Movies is the DVD delivery service for you. Their meticulously curated collection has something for every horror enthusiast. From timeless classics to the latest releases, stuff that will keep you up at night.
But Jerry, why should I choose Mailbox Movies?
Well, let me tell you why. Mailbox Movies has an extensive horror DVD selection that you won't find anywhere else. I'm going through the website right now, scrolling down and perusing their available catalog. Not only do they have some of my favorite genre films that I absolutely love, some we've even covered on The Offering, like Scream 2, Halloween H2O, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. But they've even got greater flicks like Trick or Treat, 13 Ghosts, Feast, a whole lot more. You will not believe the selection. With simple online ordering and speedy DVD delivery right to your front door, Mailbox Movies has unbeatable prices that will give you more screams for your buck. Remember to use the promo code JerryHorror for 50% off your first month. Don't settle for less. Get the best in horror delivered to your door. Head on over to mailboxmovies.com and start your terrifying movie marathon today. Welcome to The Offering with me, your host, Jerry Horror. Each week we take a deep dive into the history of film and filmmakers. Mostly horror, always genre. Please take a moment to subscribe to our show wherever you find your favorite podcast to stay up to date on future episodes. Coming up, Michael Douglas produced this film, but as per his wishes, his name was not in the credits. As the villain, Lance Henriksen improvised and wrote all of his own lines. He was the biggest NFL bust in draft history. After being forced to retire, he made one of the best action films of the 90s. Stay tuned, you're not going to want to miss this.
Classics, modern fights. Jerry guides us through the nights. Horror's history in the lights. Exploring endless chills and heights. George Romero, lost footage and hidden gems. Director's visions, dark diadems behind the scenes. We're taken there. Insightful whispered secrets we share. Sam Raimi. The Offering with Jerry Horror. Stories old and new. Jason Kruger, Bruce Campbell, genre twists that shake your core. Every episode, we craving more. Mostly horror, always genre.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, this is The Offering with me, your host, Jerry Horror. Guess what, folks? Hey, look, let me get some business out of the way. Thank you to the Scariatrics. You know, they did that theme song. I love the new theme song. Totally works, totally fits. Shout out to R.A. the Rugged Man, the guy you hear in the beginning that warned you that you probably shouldn't listen to this show. But I mean, if you've made it this far and you're easily offended, I really don't know what to tell you. So this is the season finale for season 4. If you've been following the show, maybe this is the first episode you're listening to, you've got a lot to catch up on. Because there's like 61, 62 more episodes that you got to listen to? Something like that. We're constantly making new episodes, so it's hard to keep track. But let me be clear. I want to thank all of our listeners because the support this season has been tremendous. We've been looking at the algorithms, we've been checking things, and it's insane how many people are new to the show, hadn't listened to the show last season. So we are growing, which is always a good thing. I always encourage people to write these 5-star reviews, mainly because I don't want 1-star reviews. We need all the help we can get on this show. You know, hey, look, it's not easy. It takes a village, seriously, to make anything happen. You need a small army. a few episodes ago, well, actually, I think it was 2 or 3 episodes ago, was Dr. Giggles. Sick plug. Definitely go back and listen to that because there will be more context for you to actually understand what's happening here right now. So this young lady, she wrote a really nice, 4-page review. It's 5 stars. We appreciate it. And I always tell you folks, hey, if you write a 5-star review, I will read it on air because I am shameless and I will do anything for self-adulation due to my lack of self-love. Regardless of that fact, I said, you know what? Let's take this even further. So I decided to invite the young lady who wrote the letter. It's not a letter. It's a review. Sorry. I make it like, I'm Santa Claus and she wrote like all these things. And she's like, I really hope this year that you're able to, give me that dinosaur I've always wanted. But no, that wasn't it. She wrote a really nice 5-star review. And I'm like, you know what? Let's have her on the show. So Jen Feldman, welcome to The Offering.
In the building. Who would ever think they write a review for a show and then get invited to be on the actual show?
That is terrifying.
So cool.
That is absolutely terrifying.
Jerry Horror, terrified.
I am.
Bring in the horror. Jen Feldman.
I'm so scared to have Miss Feldman in the building right now. So listen, you listen to the show. Uh-huh. You've listened to it.
Yeah.
And
about 5 hours. 5 hours.
And what do you think? I mean, aside from, obviously you're learning stuff.
A lot.
Yeah.
You're a great teacher.
I try.
Truly.
I try to, get the... No cap. Bussin' for real.
Flake bitch.
Look, the reality of the situation was that you wrote such a nice review.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for that. I wanted to
You're
personally...
so welcome.
That these are real people that listen to this show. This is not... this wasn't staged in any way. Mm. We got in touch. Producer Pete, obviously the Filipino assassin, got in touch with Jen and said, hey, Jen, do you want to be on the show? And look, folks.
I said, fuck yeah.
She was like, yeah, dreams come true.
Fuck yeah, bitch.
I really wouldn't call this much of a dream. It's more of a... It's not a nightmare. Definitely not. It's a lucid dream.
Well, today might be a nightmare. We'll see. We're just getting started, baby.
This is true. So, listen, you've been listening to the show this season.
Yes, I have.
So, any episodes that might have...
Yeah, the Exorcist one, it was about like how bad the second one was, and the people walked out of the theater, and I was just envisioning that while I was cleaning my house, and I'm like, I can't wait to release my own films, and actually I'm in films that are cringy, but I want to do screenings and just make it so bad that people walk out and revolt, just like that movie. So that was very inspiring for me, and I didn't know that, it was thought of to be so bad.
No, I mean, look, it happens, unfortunately. I don't know what exactly the circumstances were specifically with that screening. I think what it was, and I go back to this again, you make a movie that is so much in the zeitgeist, and The Exorcist is one of those films that lives rent-free in anyone who's seen its head. It's everything about it is, to say, iconic. So when you try to follow it up, it really doesn't matter what you follow it up with. Every once in a while, there's a Godfather 2 or The Empire Strikes Back, but for the most part, it's a hard act to follow. You see what I'm saying? People really did not like The Exorcist 2. They freaked out. There was damn near a riot in that theater.
Right, it's crazy.
And everybody, the producers, they all had to be ushered out. I mean, just thinking about that.
That's my dream. That's why I make movies.
But have you ever been in a film that bad?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see it, so I don't know. I mean, I can't compare what you don't know.
It's not terrible.
No, I'm in some really bad films, and the ones coming out, I don't know if there's anything coming out that's so bad, but no, there's a lot of stuff I do that's bad, but that's why I do it, because I love it. It's what I wake up for. It's why I wake up in the morning. It's why I get to the gym. It's why I'm serious. Like it's why I eat healthy sometimes, because I picture putting my stuff on the screen and having like my mom, who's a super lefty, cringe, or doing stand up and having the audience say, I heard someone at my second to last comedy show say, is she done yet? When I did stand up as Santa Claus.
Nice.
And the only person who really seemed to appreciate it was a few of the comedians, and one guy from France who was a comedian. He said it was the best thing he ever saw. But the town commissioner, I think, from Oceanside, I didn't know that there was a political person from, not Oceanside, sorry, Long Beach. There was someone in charge of the government. I went to her and singled her out, and I think it was her and her table that asked if I'd be done. And that's a goal. So Exorcist, people walking out, that's kind of what gets me off.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
like
shocking.
I could not have sex and just make bad stuff and have people cringe, and I'd probably get off from that. I'm not even kidding.
I think when you talk about people making bad stuff, there is, I think the best the best of the worst, so to speak, like Red Letter Media, the best of the worst is really when you have people who have set out to make something with passion in their hearts, and they try to make something good. I think that's why like stuff like The Room really works, because people set out seriously with serious intention and passion.
The best. But they're delusional, or they're stupid, or they can't plan, or they have no vision, or they don't have audio, or they're drinking on set, or they're just mentally insane, and it's great.
Yeah, it's that's, we talk about magic, and that is the unquantifiable magic of bad filmmaking. Look, I love it too. There's something that is, I think, I don't know what it is, because there's all this cringe content now, but a lot of it is manufactured bullshit.
Yes.
It's not real.
Yes.
There is an intention for cringe. I think what I'm talking about is when people really go out there, they put themselves out there, and they're like, hey, this is serious. Like, I really, I think I'm going to be the next action star. I think I'm going to be the next big thing. And to me, you obviously, you have to, look, I've been dealing with the arts my entire life now, and it doesn't matter whether you work in marketing, whether you work in acting or music. People in the arts are fucking weird, right? Like there has to, like everybody to a degree has like some kind of damage, right?
I don't know. I think almost all humans have defects. Every human has a defect. So I'm just going to say that. Yeah, I think there's defects in every field, because I've been in the personal training field, I've been in cosmetology field, and there's just different brands of psychosis and crazy and addiction or loss in every field. Yeah, and art has its own brand of crazy, but dentistry, my dad's a dentist, has its own brand of crazy. Everyone's kind of crazy on some level, but you seem to be getting healthy this year. I've been listening to your podcast, and I heard you talk about you lost 100 pounds?
We're up to 123 at last count.
That's my weight today.
That is your, see? There you go.
I've been this weight once in my life.
Once in your life.
Maybe like the gods got me to be that weight, so today we'd have a synchronicity,
People could actually see how much weight I lost.
I actually am, like, you can hear, hold, touch my hand. I am you. I'm the weight you lost, sitting across from you, staring you in the eye, and now holding your hand, not just touching your hand, but holding it meaningfully. And I didn't wash my hands after I went to the bathroom.
It's okay. Germs are good. People need germs.
How do you feel, Jerry?
I don't know. My hand was kind of asleep because I had my back on it. So it's still kind of tingling.
Are you in horror?
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far. It's, it's funny. It's, I don't know. I don't even know. Aliens don't scare me.
I've been told I'm half alien. Here, I'll let you go. It's not my show to be Jerry Horror, to be, scary, but I am you.
It's possible. I mean,
we'll see what happens the next year.
Listen,
as you,
we'll take a photo so people could see. They were like, wow, like that's a whole ass human that Jerry lost.
Yes, it is. Take a look, baby.
It.
This is you. You can touch it. You can touch it. It's you.
I mean, look. It is what it is. Look, I don't know. It's hard when you actually have to picture the 125 pounds. Look, the reality of the situation is that I did go through a lot of personal growth.
You did.
I did my best. It was one of these things where I had to kind of get my mind right. And that is really where everything else follows. It was a tough year. I had, one of my best friends, he committed suicide. Oh. And I said, I got to go to the doctor. I got to get checked out. And that's, I tell our listeners, you got to go and make sure you go to the doctor. See what's going on. There could be something going on. You don't want nothing going on, but there could be something going on.
Or maybe go to like 10 doctors.
Go to 10. Go to 10.
Because they all have different ideas and different blind spots and different toxicities and problems. So, if you have back pain, I would say get like at least 5 opinions. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of bad advice. I've been disabled before, and it was because I went to doctors that I stayed disabled, and I even went to a chiropractor 3 times a week, and then became suicidal because she said stop working out, and I was a personal trainer. So sometimes going to doctors can ruin you if they give you bad advice.
Like now that I've been like almost 11 months of working out, like I see what it does to my brain. Like I need the endorphins, I need the serotonin.
Nice.
It's cool. It's
11 months, only 11 months?
11 months.
And what was happening 12 months before the 11 months started?
I did nothing. I was completely sedentary.
Oh, wow.
I went through a really bad breakup.
Okay.
And then,
that'll do it.
Yeah.
That made you get in shape, the breakup?
No.
Oh, that made you get out of shape.
No, what ended up happening was I went through the bad breakup and then the fucking pandemic happened like almost
me too.
instantly.
Yeah, me too. Basically, my breakup happened like as the pandemic was happening.
Yeah. Wow. And it was crazy because what it did was I just got really depressed.
Yeah.
Tons of anxiety, and I just kept eating. I could not stop eating.
I did that too, 2010.
I think it was a coping mechanism.
20 pounds in a month. You ever do that?
I don't know.
I did. It was fun. You just take peanut butter and you put like nuts in it and raisins and honey and just eat it, drink it like it's water. Like you drink it. That's one thing you'll gain 20 pounds real fast if you do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anybody looking to gain weight out there? We do, I have a listener, she has trouble gaining weight.
Oh yeah. I worked with people that gain weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a serious problem too. Yeah.
Regardless of that fact, I was able to change my life. I decided I'm going to go into therapy.
Okay.
I'm going to see a psychologist. I'm going to see a psychiatrist. And really what this whole journey for me has been about is just becoming a better person, if that makes any sense.
I love it. It's a beautiful thing, truly.
Well,
yeah.
People don't know the realities, the realities of it. Like one of the realities is that I've been losing weight very slowly. I lose about 1 pound a week.
That's great.
And that's the way I do it because I don't want the loose skin. There probably will
or
be
gallstones or to lose your gallbladder.
Mm-hmm. You also, I think for a lot of people, it has to be sustainable.
Yes.
You have to do things that are normal. When you read about people...
Well, not normal, because the norms are pretty fucked up.
Yeah, norms
Don't be normal. Yeah. Don't be normal, Jerry. That would be a tragedy.
Well, it's just like, there's different things, like when you read about like fitness models or bodybuilders, there's like protocols for like weight loss, and there's insane things you do to make everything pop. We're not gonna get into that. That's a whole nother episode. But what happens is people try to do these things and they're like really extreme, and that's not how you do it. You have to make these small incremental changes.
I almost died doing that. Yeah, I was
not
there.
Good.
Yeah, no, it's good. 1 pound a week, that's sane. It sounds like you're doing things in a very, very, very measured, smart way. Not like how I did things when I was a full-time trainer. I was a maniac. The things I did to myself, I would never do to a client. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Maniacal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we're all our own worst critic, right? You're harder on yourself than you are on any other human being.
Oh, no, I would never do to other people what I do to myself. Yeah.
It's true, right?
Never. No, never, never.
Well, that's what it was. I was living in my own prison, and it was terrible. And I think that at least with this season, people have started to realize, well, Jerry's a whole different person. And
your last episode popped. I told you that before we started. I was like, your energy was up because this is what I did. I wrote a health guidebook, and I can tell. There's one thing I can tell, and I've never been off. I can kind of tell what someone's eating, what they're up to, just by listening to them and being in the same room for about 10 minutes. And that last episode, I was getting ready for shoot. I was listening to you, and I was just like excited. Like I could feel your energy. When someone's happy and feels good, I can feel it, and it's contagious. And I loved like the beginning 30 minutes of your last episode. It felt great. So I hope that, you really feel as happy as you made me while I was listening to it.
Well, I appreciate that.
Truly.
Folks, she enjoyed the show. So, I mean, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the show as much as I have this
Porn
season.
for the children.
It really is. Wait, no. What do you mean by porn is for the children?
Well, ODB says, Wu-Tang is for the children. So like porn is for the children. Because when I wrote a review, I recall you reading it out loud. And I don't even remember writing this to you. Something I said when I was younger, I really liked horror, which I did. And I was interested in horror and porn. I thought it was really cool.
It's the same thing. Pornography and horror isn't that different because there is a sense of forbidden. There's a sense of titillation. There's also a degree of the unknown.
Dopamine.
Yeah, of course.
Surprise.
It's a rush.
It looks cool too. Like I feel like that looks cool and edgy and glamorous, or I don't know. It was very seductive. There's a seductive quality to porn and horror as a child, but as a 40-year-old, I just turned 40. I don't watch porn and I don't really watch horror anymore. I lost the interest in a lot of it.
Don't worry. I'm watching enough for the both of us. I promise.
Thank God.
I'm watching all 125 pounds of porn and horror every week. No, but in all seriousness.
So porn is for the children.
It really, well, I mean, yeah.
It's not for 40-year-olds.
I wish I wish. You know what? It's not the same, though. I used to have to work for porn. You used to either have to steal it from somebody, you had to get it from a store. Like, it was physical.
Get the right channel that's not blurry.
It was a tangible
I know.
thing.
I did that when I was 7.
But you had to work for it. You see what I'm saying here?
Yes, I was born in 84. It wasn't that easy back then.
No,
I told you I watched porn as a child, not now. I don't watch porn. I haven't really watched it in 5 years.
It has not
It was
changed.
very difficult to find it.
Well, the thing that I hate about porn nowadays is they used to make movies. There was a plot. They were shooting on film. There was a whole thing. And now it's just like everybody has access to it. Everybody has an OnlyFans. So there's nothing.
Do you?
What's that? Not yet.
Why not?
That's the end goal.
I've just been here because I was hoping you had an OnlyFans.
The end goal of the offering is I have to just keep losing weight and getting in shape, and then I'm totally going to show my butthole.
Yeah?
Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, I'm actually not that into buttholes, but I like elbows, like the Amish.
I'm sure there's somebody that's into something.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
Amish
care.
like elbows, and I do too.
People sell their bath water. What could Jerry sell? I could sell my watermelon rinds. I don't know. Look, I'm desperate. I'll sell anything.
So would you collab with people if you did an OnlyFans? Because there's this collabing thing going on. I know someone spread 3,000 cases of herpes, I believe, recently. That's all over the internet.
Yeah, that's, wow. I don't know. I mean, listen.
You could be like that.
I think I'm a mercenary. I think that I am, for hire. If it looks good on paper and it seems profitable, I would probably do it because that's just the type of person that I am.
OnlyFans might look good on paper. I guess it depends on who your parents are. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's for OnlyFans, so it's for them. It's in theory, right? It's like the democratic version of like, we want to see X and you will do X, and it's like the highest bidder. Like somebody's like, hey, like stomp your feet in peanut butter, right? Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it. I don't know who wants that, but if they're willing to pay for it, I'm totally going to do it.
I'm down to stomp my feet in some peanut butter later for
That doesn't sound that
I'll do it
bad.
for $20.
Yeah.
I'm not greedy.
Jen,
$20.
You're really, really bidding yourself low. We need
Well, I'm
more
trying to be fair. I'm not a
just
greedy
saying,
person.
After
I'm not greedy.
taxes, after producer Pete gets his
Listen,
cut.
I'm in a position in life where I can afford to do a $20 peanut butter stomping. I can do it.
Well,
I'm okay.
I'm willing to do it for 19, just so everyone.
We could collab. You want to collab on that?
We could
be
collab.
my first collab on OnlyFans could be peanut butter stomping with Jerry Hart.
That'd be so weird. I feel like it's a strange thing to start with, but you know what? It's kind of like I said, if that is what the people want, that's what they're gonna get.
Nah.
You know what though?
It's not that great.
I've got a pretty big gay audience. I've got.
Oh, really?
I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there.
Gay women or men?
Men.
Yeah, gay men don't like me.
Really?
I mean, some do, but a lot of them don't.
I'm big.
Yeah, those are not
I would
my
be a
main
bear
demographic.
in the gay community.
What's your feel? Like, the gay men like you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not me.
I get hit on by primarily men, and hey, look.
Really?
They've got good taste, but also most men are just horny, so they're just like, like I could just be another jump off. But yeah,
wow.
It's weird.
They want the Jerry Har.
Which is shocking.
No, it's not. It's not shocking.
For the right price, they can have me.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah. Jen, I want to thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. Dreams made, baby.
Seriously.
Seriously.
The offering where we make dreams come true.
Seriously, you think I joke?
No, listen. At some point, folks are gonna see our OnlyFans, and they're gonna, I don't know, hopefully give us money. I think that's right. That's what you do. You do it, and they give you money.
I barter. Barter's all right.
Depends on what we're bartering for.
I'm okay with bartering. Barter's fine.
I think we all make a little bit of a Faustian bargain with ourselves, don't we?
What does that mean, Jerry? Can you educate me? That's why I'm here, to be educated by Jerry Horror. I don't know what big words mean. I'm just a fan.
Faustian bargain would refer to something like a devil's trade, so to speak. You get what I'm saying? Like, you make a deal with the devil.
Yeah, I wanted to confirm that. I don't think I do that. I don't think I do that at all, actually. No.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because the subject of our episode today, somebody made kind of a devil's bargain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
This was a gentleman who was a Pro Bowler. Wait a second. First off, let me get it straight, because I'm not really a sports guy. Like, I like boxing and UFC.
Me too.
But that's about where it ends for Uncle Jerry.
Same.
I don't like team sports.
Me neither.
So
unless they're naked, then I'll watch.
Then I'm in.
Right?
See? Now I'm
Bunch
back.
of naked men or ladies running around kicking a ball. Pff, I'll watch your balls kicking balls. Hell yeah.
I was out. Now I'm back in. Who would have thought, right? I'm that easy to win over. But no, in all seriousness, we had a guy who was a college football player, maxed out his potential there, went into the NFL, got in trouble for steroids there, and then he decides, I'm going to become an action movie hero. And very few people, like there's been, like Jim Brown did it. There's been some other people, successfully, not so successfully, that have tried to. Joe Namath was in a movie. Yeah, it's not very good. But regardless of that fact, this is a really interesting story about a man who had no intentions of being a silver screen action hero. And I think he made one of the best action films of the 90s. And that's just my humble opinion. So, folks, you're going to find out what that film is after the break. Jen and I are going to start figuring out what we're going to do for OnlyFans because we need to know what kind of hot content are you willing to pay for. So, as I always say, stay tuned.
Make that peanut butter organic.
A lot of times, we talk about some of the greatest action movies of all time. Some would say it's Raiders of the Lost Ark. Others will tell you it's Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Everybody's got a favorite. Some folks out there will tell you Michael Bay, The Rock, greatest action film ever made. I don't think so. That's ridiculous. That's preposterous. Preposterous. I won't hear of it on The Offering. But I do know what the greatest action film of the 90s is. And I'm going to tell you, look, Terminator 2 is amazing. And this movie was made the same year. But I think this movie's better. Just between you and me. It's just us. You, the gentle listener, and your old pal Jerry Horror. Just us. And I'm going to tell you, you've got tons of hand-to-hand combat, bone-snapping motherfuckers getting cross-tackled, punched in the face, kicked in the dick. You got broken glass. You got more broken glass than like 5 fucking Jackie Chan movies. You've got practical stunts, some of the best stunts I've seen in that decade. You got motorcycles. You got fucking boobs. Tons of blood, profanity, biker gangs, and Lance fucking Henriksen as Chains. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's one of, this is one of Lance Henriksen's best. Seriously, I'm being dead ass. Like this, it's Aliens and this movie. The greatest action film of the 90s is Stone Cold, starring Brian Bosworth, former NFL star, Seattle Seahawks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Bosworth.
You know, all my life people have had the wrong idea about me.
I don't like cops who make up the rules as they go.
They say I push things just a little too far. They accuse me of being insensitive. They basically say that I lack the ability to get along with others. So just to prove these people wrong, I decided to join a very exclusive and private club. Oh yes, it's very plush. And the membership, very select. And games, we play some games. A perfect place for me, wouldn't you think?
You just picked up the wrong passenger, buddy!
Mr. Brian Bosworth requests the pleasure of your company. Stone Cold.
Now, if I was to tell the story of Brian Bosworth, I couldn't do it justice. So, this is one of the firsts on this show. I am giving all of you homework. Sorry, Jerry. Sorry, audience. Jerry's giving us homework. Oh, boy. 30 for 30, Brian and the Boz. You can watch it. It's on Hulu. It's on Disney+. It is the Boz, in his own words, reflecting upon his college football career with Oklahoma. And it goes over everything that happened in the NFL and what went wrong. But let me sum it up. I really want you to watch this documentary because it really gives you greater insight into who Brian Bosworth as an athlete was. And Brian Bosworth was an athlete first. When he was a kid, his father was really hard on him. I mean, it was constantly. It was always about, Brian, you could run the mile faster. Brian, you could do more push-ups. There's a part of Brian Bosworth that never felt like he was enough as a person because of his father. And he never felt that he could live up to these lofty expectations. A man who rarely told him that he loved him, but was willing to push Brian's body to limits that it probably shouldn't have gone. More importantly, when Brian Bosworth becomes an NCAA champion, he says, listen, I need to go into business for myself. I need to know how to market myself. So he created a character, and the character was the Boz. By all accounts, Brian Bosworth, lovely human being. He's a really nice guy, goes out of his way to do a lot of charitable things. He's involved in the church. He's a very good dude, okay? Husband, father. But what I will say is he knew what to do. So he grew the haircut. He bleached the hair, that high top weird fade. Grew the mullet. He's got the mullet. Honestly, for my money, one of the best mullets of the 90s. Sorry, not sorry. Easily. But more importantly, he realized that he had to find a way to market himself. And he invented something that he called the Boz button. And when he pushed the Boz button, boom, he was a different person. He transformed into this larger-than-life, largely based on pro wrestling, guys that he grew up watching, like Ric Flair. And when he pushed the Boz button, man, that was it. All the butts in the seats. Was he that great of a player? But it didn't matter. There were people. He starts making the t-shirts. He makes the t-shirts. We love the Boz. He sells them. There's people that hate the Boz. Guess what? He makes the t-shirts too. He makes both of them. He makes the We Love the Boz and We Hate the Boz. But he got a lot of attention by doing this. NCAA football, it's out there. People watch it, but it's not like the NFL. And he got a lot of coverage. He got a lot of fucking eyes on the game. And that's crazy. There were people who were tuning in just to see him because everybody was talking about him. And the NCAA didn't like that. They felt it was taking attention away from the league. And then the Boz decided, well, you know what? You're going to talk smack about me. I'm going to talk smack about you. So he called the NCAA the National Communists Association of America. He wanted fair pay, sponsorships for the players, which we're all still fighting for, which is ridiculous that these people make hundreds of millions of dollars and these players don't get dick. It's a sad practice that still goes on today. He had created a character. There were Land of Boz posters. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He eventually gets popped when he's on the Seattle Seahawks for steroids. And people think, you take steroids and you get huge. There's a lot of steroids that you take, like corticosteroids, that are actually to heal you, to help you heal up. And the problem is he had a bad shoulder. He was willing to do whatever he could. It's kind of one of those things, like we talk about somebody like Nolan Ryan. Those last few years of him pitching were tough, and he had to use steroids, not just to amplify it or to get the muscle mass, but steroids so that he could pitch. Andre Agassi, he used steroids too. He had a really bad back injury, and they would inject him. In the middle of the game, they'd have to inject him. You realize that as an athlete, you're just as much of a horse, and you're trying to make as much money as you can, and you're willing to push your body to all kinds of limits, just like Nolan Ryan, just like Andre Agassi. Can I get one more game, one more championship? And it's addictive. Can I get to the World Series one last time? It fucks with your head, because that's ego and that's pride. What you realize is, at the end of the day, you're an athlete and you're going to win by any uncertain means. You are going to come out on top. And Bosworth knew he was too big. He was too big for the world of the NFL. Because guess what? The guy's doing commercials for right guard. He's doing all kinds of stuff. Somebody says to him, You would look great on a big silver screen, Brian. I'm just saying. And that voice, who did he run into? At a charity event, he runs into Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas is telling everybody, you gotta see this kid. You gotta see him. He's the boss. I'm telling you, he's got it. So Michael Douglas is going around Hollywood. He's telling Joel Silver, big producer, Commando, Predator. Listen, I know Arnold's getting old, Stallone's getting old, but, we got new guys. We got Van Damme and we got Brian. And I think Brian's going to be the guy. Michael Douglas convinced that Brian Bosworth was going to be the biggest star in the world. And God damn it, was Michael Douglas eating a lot of pussy that year. No, we know that. But more importantly, he knew that Bosworth was a commodity. And he was ready to bet the farm. And he pretty much did on Bosworth. I am going to say this. Stone Cold is a beautiful disaster. It is a happy accident. It is, again, like we spoke about many times before, whether it's films like Ghostbusters, it's lightning in a bottle. It's lightning in a bottle. It's magic. It's magic. Where did it come from? We don't know. Our story begins with one Sir Ridley Scott telling Michael Douglas that he should make a couple of quick bucks by financing horror movies, or perhaps even an action movie, as they were in style at the time, with box office juggernauts like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and to a lesser extent, the Dolph Lundgrens of the world. I don't know, Ridley. I'm just not a horror guy. But maybe I could do an action. I like action pictures. I like eating pussy, but I love action pictures. So he decides he's going to make 2 movies, because you never bet big. He's got 2 movies. And the other movie is called Double Impact with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Previous episode, Bloodsport, sick plug. And Michael Douglas says in his head, these guys are going to be the next big action stars, and I'm going to produce both of these movies. And it comes down to an extra $10 million. And he can only spend, he's like, well, do I give 5 to Double Impact? No, I got to give 10. I got to make a bet here. He went all in on the Boz. And he says, we're going to put the other $10 million into Stone Cold. Stone Cold was not known as Stone Cold. It was known as a film called Heart of Stone. And when it begun filming, it was very much a different film. Why is that? Well, let me tell you a little bit about Bruce Malmuth, okay? Bruce Malmuth, he directed a lot of movies. Most famously, he directed a movie in 1981 called Nighthawks. Nighthawks was a Sylvester Stallone, Billy D. Williams film with Rutger Hauer as the bad guy. It's a great movie. I recommend Nighthawks. I personally, people say, Jerry, what movie would you love to remake? And I say, I would love to redo Nighthawks. You plug some guys into Nighthawks, some hot young actors. I'm saying as the Stallone, we go Vin Diesel. We go Vin Diesel as the Stallone. Younger? Who we got? Younger? Glenn Powell as a Sylvester Stallone role. Glenn Powell. Now we need a black guy. We need somebody as handsome as Billy D, who's got the swagger and loves to eat pussy, because Michael Douglas is producing this as well. We get Michael B. Jordan. It's Michael B. Jordan and Timothy Chalamet fighting terrorists in New York. Now, Nighthawks is an interesting picture. Relax, kids. We're going to get back to the Boz. Nighthawks is an interesting picture because it is the hangover of 70s movies where it's like a 70s crime thriller. It's something more in the vein of like The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. And the 80s, as we know them, haven't really started yet because the next movie Stallone makes is First Blood. And that's when we really get into that action cycle. Bruce Malmuth, he most famously directed Hard to Kill, another director. That was the movie that he did before this. That's how he got the directing job. I love Hard to Kill. Hard to Kill is one of his best movies, Seagal. He's like, I'm going to take you to the bank, Senator. The blood bank. Bum, 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 bum. He also did in 94, after this, he does Pentathlon, a weird docudrama movie about Dolph Lundgren winning the pentathlon. And I'm sitting there in 1994 and I'm just wondering, I'm like, when does he break people's necks? There's a lot of running in this movie, a lot of him jumping over things, not into this. But Malmuth was the choice. He talked to Michael Douglas and he says, look, I'm going to make Heart of Stone. So they start shooting this movie. And it becomes abundantly clear that Malmuth is not shooting a lot of action stuff. He has a whole different script. Now, this is the craziest part about the filming of Stone Cold. They made an entire movie. He spent $5 million, Bruce Malmuth. This other movie called Heart of Stone was more about Brian Bosworth's sister and her getting involved with this biker cult, but a lot of it was a melodrama. Michael Douglas assumes, he's like, well, he made Hard to Kill. I'm sure this will be fine too. So Michael Douglas goes and he starts watching the dailies. And he's like, oh my God, Bruce, what are you doing with this movie? There's no action. It's just him and the sister, and there's a lot of kvetching. What are you doing? Michael Douglas is now a Hasidic Jew, for all purposes. No, he's just like, this is not the movie. He says, we need a complete rewrite. So we're like, what do we like? We like the Stone name. We like that. He could still be, Joe Stone, but it's got to be a different movie. So enter Craig R. Baxley, who ends up being hired to direct, which namely involved in stunts and explosions and little else. Now, Baxley most famously got to start with the Dukes of Hazzard. He's doing all those crazy stunts. He was a stuntman, and he would jump to General Lee. He did all that crazy shit. Then he does the A-Team, and the A-Team's a huge hit, and he's doing the same thing. He's doing these big stunts on a television production budget, because TV budgets weren't the same as movies. He starts working on everything. Baxley, if you think of any major production, like whether it's Predator, he was the stunt coordinator. He had a really good team in place, and he figures this is his shot. This is my first directorial debut. Michael Douglas told him, he's like, well, you can do all the stunts and the action. He goes, we get some action. He says some one-liners. So Michael Douglas knows firmly what this movie is supposed to be. And whatever the fuck Bruce Malmuth was shooting in Heart of Stone, which, oh my God, that ends up being the same title as the Gal Gadot movie for Netflix. It's me, Heart of Stone, the most terrible actress. She looks good in a bikini. That's about where that ends. She was good as Wonder Woman. She was good. I like that first Wonder Woman. Second one's pretty bad. They're still shooting this other version of the movie before they bring on Craig R. Baxley. There's all these scenes with Bosworth having this family. He's got a wife, the child, and then the melodrama with the sister. Michael Douglas is like, this doesn't work. You got to get rid of all of these people. All right, well, in the rewrite, Joe Stone is basically a swinging dick single bachelor. And he's got a pet iguana. And he's got beautiful women sleeping in his bed. I mean, that's what you want, right? Like, if I'm a dumb little kid, and I was a dumb little fat kid in shorts watching this movie with my dad, and this was another like Jeff Speakman, like a franchise kind of non-starter, one-hit wonder, was like, oh boy, I can't wait for Brian Bosworth's next movie. Can we go to Burger King? And Dad's like, no, we can't, you little fat kid. Shut up, fatty. My dad didn't say that, but he did say that. But he just didn't say shut up, fatty. I would remember that. Maybe he did. Maybe this is trauma being released on The Offering. So he's $4 million in the hole on this picture. Michael Douglas just gets into an argument with Bruce Malmuth. He's like, I'm going to have Craig R. Baxley take over the picture. He's going to do this. And he's, well, you know what? Fuck you. You're fired. They didn't have a lot of money for this movie to begin with. So he's like, I'm going to have to pump the $10 million. First, I'm going to eat some pussy. But then we're going to take the other $10 million and pump it into Stone Cold. Michael Douglas was uncredited for both films, for both Stone Cold and Double Impact. He was probably like, I don't want, because I'm Michael Douglas. I will overshadow everyone. I don't want to overshadow Van Damme. That's what he said. And then you know what he did. Now, Henriksen, because the whole thing is like, Craig R. Baxley, he's a stunt guy. And let me tell you something. This movie has the best stunts of the 90s. Oh my God, dude, you want to talk about like unprotected sex? This is unprotected stunts. It is fucking insane. They're doing these crazy, like they're bobbing and weaving out of traffic with motorcycles. There's cars flipping. They're blowing everything up. It's like one of these dumb movies you watch. The Simpsons, like parodies, like McBain. This is McBain. This is the Saturday 4:30 movie. It really is like things explode for no reason. Why did we needed to explode them. Dude, at one point, there's a mafia guy who has grenades and he's just like picking them off a thing like they're grapes. Why does this mafia guy have grenades? Why is he, what has happened? What's going on in Little Italy that feels that he has to strap up? Whatever. All right, fine. It's fine. It's a great movie. It's a great film. Just keep telling yourself that. Craig R. Baxley, they're writing the script as they're going. Again, we've always talked about this in the offering. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that. But I'm going to make a case. Your Honor, if you'll allow me to the bench, I say that Stone Cold can write its own script as it goes. Sustained. I'll take that as that's the judge. Basically, Henriksen, and this is ridiculous. In the original script, in Heart of Stone, as we'll call it, in Heart of Stone, Lance Henriksen was only to speak in Bible verses as Chains, who is our nefarious baddie in this movie. He's like a cult leader. He's the leader of the bikers. Let me tell you, that was not going to work. So Craig R. Baxley goes, Lance, now this is crazy too, because Craig R. Baxley, he did the stunts on a film called Savage Dawn. Now, I got to say, Lance Henriksen was in this film, Savage Dawn, with William Forsythe, and they both played bikers. William Forsythe, tremendous in this film. He plays Ice. Oh my God, is he so good? He's so fucking unhinged. You know, later on he loses a bunch of weight, but this is when he was still kind of heavy, and he's got this terrible wig, and he's just, he's such a bad guy. And from the beginning, he doesn't believe, like Brian Bosworth is an undercover cop who has been sent to go undercover and invade these bikers. It's a little bit like Point Break, which is, I believe, the same year, which is insane. You've got Sam McMurray as FBI agent Lance Dockery. He's great. Sam McMurray's always great. Richard Gant, only in America. You know, the guy who played the faux Don King, thank you. The man who stole millions of dollars from boxers. Richard Gant is great. You've got Arabella Holzberg, who is beautiful. She's this brunette with bright blue eyes. And it's crazy because in this movie, you think she's going to become the love interest, and they just kill her. And that's why I love this movie, because it's got balls. In a lesser movie, Brian Bosworth, she rides off with him in the end. Nah, we're just going to shoot her right in the fucking head. And that's how we're going to, there is no happy ending for these people. There is a brutality in this film that just transcends off the screen, where it's just like, God damn. And it's a great movie. If I could ever recommend a film to my audience, like you need to own, like Kino Lorber, and again, Kino Lorber, Kino Cult, thank you so much. They just put out a fantastic Blu-ray of this film. Please, this is the most definite recommend. Like, it needs to be in your collection, because this shit is 90 minutes. It's got all the boobs, all the blood, all the explosions, and you're going to watch it and you'll be like, is this my new favorite movie? I think this might be the best movie I've ever seen. You're probably going to say to yourself, Jerry, how did I live without this film in my life? And I'm going to tell you, you can't. You can't. You can't. That's the God honest truth.
We'll be right back with more of The Offering with Jerry Horror.
Need more for your gore decor? HauntedProps.com has been a leading online Halloween retailer since 2006. And now, the company has opened the first and only year-round Halloween showroom on Long Island. The entire store is decorated and themed with immersive scenes. Yes, the whole thing is set up like a walk-through haunted attraction, and you're literally shopping in a haunted house. They've got gore props, haunted house props, costumes, masks, makeup. And did someone say animatronics? They've got those too. Designed to last and built to scare. Do you need legit looking props for your film set or photo shoot? HauntedProps.com offers consumer grade and professional grade props. They've got something scary for any budget. Here's an idea. You need a location for your event? Haunted Props is a fantastic spot for flea markets, music festivals, carnivals, a haunted house obviously, and any outdoor event you can dream of. Do yourself a favor. Go to the store in Manorville, Long Island, or order off the website, hauntedprops.com, where you can buy what scares you. Knows Best Candles is a soy wax candle company owned by two Long Island natives turned Manhattanites. They hand pour small batches of cheeky candles that inspire the euphoric feeling of synesthesia. They've got diffusers, room sprays, bundles, and gift cards are always available as well. Each Knows Best candle pairs an enchanting dual fragrance with a curated Spotify playlist to help set your mood at home. Not to mention, the names of the candles are a conversation starter themselves. Bestsellers include Safe Word, Midday Nap, and my personal favorite, Bitch Goddess. The perfect cents to burn while listening to your favorite podcast. That's right, The Offering. Remember to use promo code JerryHorror20 to automatically save 20% off your order. Stop paying for overpriced basic bitch candles. Spoil yourself or your loved ones with Knows Best candles. Listeners and fans of The Offering can get their hands on their very own The Offering with Jerry Horror merch, now only at TeePublic. Find your own fresh The Offering with Jerry Horror high-quality merchandise, including t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, long sleeves, stickers, and mugs. Just like the show, we've got gear that's mostly horror, always genre. The Offering with Jerry Horror TeePublic store has everything you need to represent your favorite podcast. Folks, head on over to teepublic.com right now and pick up your very own Offering tee today. You're listening to The Offering with Jerry Horror. Got a question or a story you want to share with me? It might be featured in a future episode. Email me at jerryhorror@gmail.com or hit me up on Twitter at jerryhorror. I'm also on Instagram. You can find me there at jerryhorror. Rate and review this show on Apple Podcast, and you might find your review in an upcoming episode. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to The Offering. Now back to the show. Now, filming was done on location along the Mississippi Gulf Coast in and around Mobile, Alabama. The climactic scene was scheduled to be filmed at the Mississippi State Capitol in Jackson. Mississippi State Capitol in Jackson found out what Stone Cold was trying to do, and they said, we don't, because basically the climax of this film goes so fucking hard, dude. Okay, so you guys remember January 6th? This is what they wanted to do. This is, if you had more helicopters and explosions and an army, this is what January 6th would have been. Like, you're going to watch this movie and be like, wait a second, this looks familiar. Yes, it was the insurrection at the Capitol. They do identify it as the Mississippi State Capitol, even though they had to move filming to Arkansas State Capitol in Little Rock, because obviously in Arkansas, they're lawless. They're just like, yeah, you shoot it whatever you want. You just give us money. Michael Douglas, he likes pussy. And they take the money and they go crazy. The change was made when the State Capitol Commission refused and allowed producers to remove several trees for the Capitol grounds filming. The officials at the Arkansas State Capitol apparently did not know about the stunts which would be done during filming, which involves a motorcycle being launched out the state capitol building's window into a fucking helicopter and exploding. Same year. They might have been shooting this before Terminator 2. Who did it first? That's up to you. The real danger in this movie, and this is why I love this movie so fucking much. They got real choppers. And guess what? They didn't tell anybody. And they're flying them like fucking 20 feet above street level. And there's not extras. No, it's just fucking people on the street. And they're using the motorcycles and they're driving. They didn't tell anybody. They're just stealing the shots. They didn't get anybody's permission. And that is why Craig R. Baxley is a fucking legend. Because, man, who would have the balls? Like, you had the Mississippi State Capitol learn that you were going to do this shit. Like, And then you go to Arkansas and don't tell them what you're doing and you just fucking do it. That's filmmaking. That's how it's done. I got to tell you, this movie, when it opens up, and we love this. We love this trope. It's in Cobra. Hey, we did Cobra. Sick plug. Previous episode. Check that shit out. Opens up. We're in this grocery store. And if you've ever wanted to see bags of Lay's or Ritz crackers be blown up, oh my God. You're going to see all the snacks. He's blowing up all the snacks. We're blowing up the Coke. We're blowing it all up. There's a bunch of dudes robbing this store. And the one guy who's in charge, he's got this leather vest and nothing else on. This guy is on cocaine. He's got the cocaine sweats. And he's like, yeah. He's like just going fucking crazy in this thing. And then guess who's shopping there? Looking like a Viking vampire from outer space. It's Brian Bosworth. He's got this crazy jacket on. It's the most, he stops everybody. He like whoops their ass. And then the cops show up. And this is my favorite part of the whole movie. It's my favorite part. Stone, what are you doing here? You're on suspension. Now, normally in a cop movie like this, the unhinged lethal weapon guy gets suspended. He's already suspended. So we know that this dude's a badass. He says, what do you got to say for yourself, Stone? Clean up on aisle 3. Boom, Stone Cold hits. Boom, the guitars hit. And we go right to the bite. This movie moves so fast. We don't spend no time wasted. There is not a frame of this movie that's wasted. We are in, we are out. You're going undercover as a biker. Okay, we're fucking doing it. And it happens and it escalates. There is also a scene, another one of my favorite scenes. When they first get to the biker gangs, like their base, let's call it their base. There's women just showering outside naked. No, but you know what? It's awesome because it's fucking stone cold. A lot of times you look at a VHS cover as a kid and there's the busty babes and there's the explosion, some guy getting punched in the head. This movie delivers. This movie has all of the things. Very rarely, and I will say like Terrifier 3, totally the same thing. The premise you are being sold on the movie poster is exactly what you're getting. You wanted Brian Bosworth whooping people's asses? Oh my God. And there's a scene, I'm sorry, now I'm just like Chris Farley because I love this movie. I'm just like, oh, and there's a scene where he fights this other beefcake, and this guy I forget the gentleman's name, it doesn't matter. He had like one dark match against Bret the Hitman Hart, and he didn't get picked up by the WWE, and he decides to do movies. There's just beefcakes slapping, and we got sweaty men, and, there were a lot of allegations on the set of this film that there was a lot of cocaine. And I'll tell you what, this movie needed the coke. Red Bull wasn't invented, so we had cocaine. We made the best of it. But half the people in this movie, especially the bad guys, look like they are schmaltz off their face. They're just like, ah! Everybody's screaming, everyone's sweating, everybody's eyes look like they're going to explode. And Lance Henriksen, bless his heart, is just... There's no sides for the actors. It's just like you know your lines and you say your lines to Lance Henriksen and he just whatever he's coming up with on that day. And if you watch his performance in this movie, it's fucking awesome. And what's even more awesome is that he improvised it all. Like he had no idea he was just making this shit up. What ends up happening is William Forsythe, who plays Ice, he's like, well, if Lance gets to make up his lines, I should too. And he's like, all right, well, I guess if you want to improvise. So they start letting William Forsythe improvise. And then him and Lance Henriksen are doing the scenes and just making it up. And they're like, this is great. This works. Bosworth starts doing the same thing. He's like, Craig, how about you just give me some cool shit to say? And Craig will be like, all right. He's like, this is what you say. Clean up an aisle through. Oh, this is great. And like, that's how this all jives together. A lot of the acting in this movie is complete improvisation. And if you watch the final film, you're going to say to yourself, God damn it, this really does work. This really is a great movie. Michael Douglas, God bless him, is going all over town. And he's saying, look, I got 2 pictures coming out. One's got Van Damme. And you got to like it because if you like Van Damme, there's 2 Van Dammes in this movie. And that's why you got to like it. But more importantly, I got this picture. It's called Stone Cold, Brian Bosworth. I don't know if you heard of him. He's going to be the next big thing. Michael Douglas is parading his sexy ass all over Hollywood and telling anybody that will listen that Brian Bosworth is going to be the next big thing. I don't know if that was necessarily the truth, but I will say this. We live in a world where there should have been 10 more Brian Bosworth movies. I feel that we were robbed, okay? I think this guy could have had a fantastic career. He had the look, he had the charisma, he had the swagger. It is about that untangible X factor that makes you a star. It's something that's the difference between a character actor and somebody like Dwayne Johnson. Say what you will about the man, but he's got charisma. And that's kind of all you need, because if you believe that you've got the goods, everybody else will believe that you got the goods. So we wrap filming. Michael Douglas sees the movie. Oh my God, this is a fantastic picture. He loves it. He loves it. We're just going to submit it to the MPAA and then we're done. We're going to put it in theaters. Ho, 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 ho. Well, the original cut of this film was an NC-17. There was all kinds of things. Like there's an uncut version of this movie that no one's ever seen except the MPAA and maybe some test audiences. But there's some gruesome stuff. Like there's a scene where they shove a guy's hand into the motorcycle, the spoke, and they cut it. They cut the scene. But from what I understand, in the uncut version, you see it. There's like a whole nother sex scene with Brian Bosworth. There's a lot more violence and they just cut it out. No one knows what happened to this, but this uncut version, which was like 10 minutes longer, exists and it's out there somewhere. It's crazy because in 2014, there was a Q&A at the Austin Alamo Draft House and Brian Bosworth hosted it, which was very cool. And he was saying that the original director was really fired by Michael Douglas because it was personal issues that he couldn't control which poured out on set. Now, allegedly, after all these years later, Bruce Malmuth was going through a terrible divorce. So that's why most of the movie that he shot, Heart of Stone, was really a family drama, because he was projecting his own familial issues onto the set of the movie. But we know once old Michael Douglas got a hold of that, yeah, he was like, no. For whatever reason, Stone Cold was not a big hit. Even though little Jerry, with his best friend Dr. Pepper and his good friend Mr. Popcorn, it wasn't a hit. And I thought it would be, because I saw this film in theaters in 1991 and it blew my fucking mind. So much so that when there was a used copy available for $7.99 at our local video store, my father and I bought that shit sight unseen because we loved Stone Cold. We were just waiting. When are we going to get more Stone Cold? When is this going to happen? Are we going to get a Stone Cold 2? Is this guy going to go on to make a million other movies? This is put out by Columbia Pictures, May 17th, 1991. Again, running time, 95 minutes, offering seal of approval. The budget for this movie was originally $15 million. But Michael Douglas decided to give it that extra 10, and it was a $25 million movie. Now remember, a lot of that budget got kind of cut down because of all the stuff that Bruce Malmuth shot. According to historians, what I've heard and what they were saying on the Kino disc was that Malmuth had like 75% of the movie in the can. So essentially what happened here is that Heart of Stone is a different movie. It's basically 75% of a movie that we've never seen. And there's a part of me, a sick, very twisted part of me, like Michael Douglas, that wants to see that version of what that was. So basically, they shot a whole nother movie. And then when they realized it sucked, they had to pump all these stunts into it. And it really worked. I think it did. Unfortunately, it didn't really work. Because after everything was said and done, they decided to put $20 million into the marketing because it's the Boz. And Boz is on the big screen, and it's going to be a huge thing. They probably spent $45 million on this movie, truth be told. Box office, worldwide, total gross, $9.1 million. Ooh, yeah. For whatever reason, it just failed to light the box office on fire. It's a great film. Sometimes, like I talk about this, and this goes back to what David Bowie used to say, fans and artists grow at different rates. Maybe the world in 1991 wasn't ready for Stone Cold. But let me tell you, brother, you are ready for Stone Cold. You go and get that Kino Lorber sweet, sweet Blu-ray. It was on sale the other day for $13 on Amazon. Not that we're getting a fucking dollar from this, but we should. Oh my God. It's so good. It's so, like, a lot of times, like, I'm a dick, and you know this. I'm fucking overselling the movie. I can't oversell Stone Cold sells itself. Once that disc gets to your house, and you got that sweet slipcover, and Brian Bosworth looking back at you, and he's got that sweet fucking 90s mullet, let me tell you something. And that's the thing, too. He had a butt scene. In this movie. He said, hey, gotta show the butt. Works for Van Damme. He's got to show the butt. He showed the butt. There's opening scene. He's in a banana hammock. I'm a straight man. And I was like, oh my. Brian Bosworth in a banana hammock. Okay. Well, it's not all bad. Well, yeah, it's pretty much bad. But Brian Bosworth's performance got him nominated for a Razzie for Worst New Star. He didn't win. I don't know who won. But we don't care because the Razzies are bullshit. It's punching down. Rotten Tomatoes reports a positive score of 30% based on 10 reviews. Average rating of 4.9 out of 10. Audiences surveyed by CinemaScore gave the film a grade of B+. See, they know their shit on A+ to F. Look, for whatever reason, there were no critical screenings. They knew exactly. This movie was aimed at young boys. Like, we didn't have Captain America. We didn't have Spider. You know what we had? We had big, oily beefcakes who will blow shit up. There's a chance we're going to see a woman's bare breasts, and some dudes are going to pay the price. And that was fine. That was fine. You know what? You talk about making America great again. Make movies like this. Make more movies about biker trash and boobs and explosions. We used to be a proper country. You know, you could make movies like this. You have to be. You used to make a movie for $10 million. Guy fucking karate kicks some people, says to the bad guy, "Oh, I'm going to get you." The bad guy's like, "I don't think so." And then he gets the bad guy. He kisses the girl. But you know what? This movie's so fucking badass that the love interest, she just gets shot in the fucking head. And that's how badass this movie is. The end of this movie, we get this tracking shot of Boz walking away. He's all bloody, he's beaten up, and he's walking towards the camera. And he's walking out towards the screen. I see him on the big screen, and I'm like, "Boz, I cannot wait for you to walk into Stone Cold 2. But it never happened. It never happened. I will say this, there is a definite recommend. Most of his movies suck, like a lot of them. Virus is okay. Virus is okay. That's a Boz movie. He did it was PM Entertainment, who did a bunch of the Gary Daniels and Cynthia Rothrock movies in the 90s. They did a movie with Bosworth called One Man's Justice. And I am going to tell you, One Man's Justice is a winner. He plays an army sergeant who teaches hand-to-hand combat, and they kill his wife and his child. And he goes on this mission, finding these drug dealers. And the villain of One Man's Justice is one MC Hammer. And I got to tell you, he's pretty good. He's pretty good in this movie. Please, Hammer, don't hurt him. But he does, and then Boz hurts him back. You know how that works. All right, folks. You ready, kids? It's time for our favorite part of the show, Unhinged Reviews. Logan, 1 out of 5 stars, verified purchase. Review title, 1 star. It was not Brian Bosworth. It was Tom Selleck. I got chipped. Now, you're probably wondering to yourself, what is this young person? This guy, you know what? This is probably a 45-year-old guy who, lives in his mother's basement. Now, this is an older person. Now, what this guy is talking about was there was Heart of Stone, there's 8 of these movies. Tom Selleck played this character on these TV movies that have some kind of weird cult fan base. There's 8 of these movies, Producer Pete. 8 of these Jesse Stone movies. And Tom Selleck plays Jesse Stone, and he goes and he solves these crimes. And it's, but I'm thinking this was like grandma porn. This was like kind of like your grandmother's like, "Oh, it's Tom Selleck. He's gonna fight the bad guys." And like, I can't think, because like right after this, Selleck goes into Blue Bloods. And at this point, like Tom Selleck, he's like in his 60s and he's doing these movies. But apparently these Jesse Stone movies have a cult fan base. Bless his heart. It is what it is. How the fuck could you buy this Blu-ray? The Boz, he's all over this in his leather jacket, and there's motorcycles. And how could you think, like, for 1 minute, like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on out here. I don't know. H. Rouillet, I think I'm saying it right. 1 star out of 5 stars. Again, blasphemy. Verified purchase. Title, taped over movie. I was in this movie, and I taped over it. It makes bikers look like idiots, and it's totally unrealistic. Yeah, that's why we go to the movies. If nothing else, it is good for a laugh or the script alone. I am now ordering the movie only because I am in it as an extra, and it would be nice to have. That's more of a personal story. That's not really a review. I mean, you told us how shitty the movie was, but you're an extra in this movie, which means they shot in Mobile, Alabama, so you're fucking some weird inbred hick. Sorry, Alabama folks. That's not true of everyone, especially if you're a pretty girl from Alabama. I'm quite sure that you are smart, sexy, and an independent woman who would like to sleep with me. But aside from that point, you were an extra in this movie, so you're probably in the Arkansas shoot. And everybody that I've met from Arkansas is dumb as shit. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Okay, next, one more. Come on, Producer Pete. Let's do the final unhinged review for the season 4 that is The Offering. Are you ready? Sally Crosby, 2 out of 5 stars. Verified purchase. Title, I am not a fan. I don't like this movie, but my ex-husband loves it. It is his favorite of all time. It is an action movie, and for some reason, men love it. And that is why he's your ex, because you do not understand Stone Cold. And you don't deserve to be in a marriage with a man who loves Stone Cold, because that's just the way it is. You know, some people aren't compatible. But if you do not see the merit of how wonderful, you know, and that's the thing. You went on fucking Amazon, you bought a Blu-ray, you bought the movie and then told us how much your fucking ex-husband loves it. Maybe there's a part of you that still loves your ex-husband. And you buying this sweet, sweet Blu-ray from Kino Lorber is just another attempt to try and get Harold back. Where did he go? What's he doing now? I'm sure you know. I'm sure you stalk him on Facebook. I'll tell you something. I saw Harold last week. He's very happy. He's middle management now at the bank. He and his girlfriend Kira just recently decided to have their first child. And here you are, buying fucking Blu-rays off of Amazon so you can cling on to the wonderful man that was once your husband, Harold. You ever think about that? Maybe it's time that you move on and stop living with regret. You fucked up. You fucked up, Denise, not Harold. Wow, that was a really crazy, unhinged review. Not that I put anything personal on that. So, is there a conclusion to this fantastic season finale? Stone Cold is the greatest action movie of the 90s. It is not up for debate. It is undisputed. It is the answer. It is not people running from CGI dinosaurs. It is not the Terminator. It is, in fact, Stone Cold. So, if you try to bring that bullshit to me, and you say, but Jerry, no. Brian Bosworth was a god among men. And sometimes you just have to smile and salute them and say, you know what? I got to breathe the same air as the boss. Because there's times in our lives we go through things, you know, maybe you go through what Harold went through with his wife. You go through, you get laid off from your job. Someone close to you does. That, my friend, is when you push the Boz button. And every time you listen to The Offering, you are pushing the Boz button. Because you know what? We don't go silently into the night. We don't just fade out. We burn. We burn bright like an asteroid, like a meteor, like 1,000 fires on the sun. That's how we fucking roll. And I know that you're a smart person. I know you're an intelligent person. And I know you love movies. And I know that there's something in your life that you really, really want. Could be a new job. Could be a new sofa. Could be you want to ask that girl out at the gym on a date. That, brother, is when you push the Boz button. And every time you listen to The Offering, you know, Daddy, we are pushing that Boz button. And that is how the fuck we get down. We might not be the most popular podcast on the air. We might not have the biggest guests. We might not have the most handsome host, but we're going to fucking get rich or die trying at this bitch, man. And I am so glad that you have tuned in. You've taken this journey with me, taken the journey with producer Pete. We might not be Joe Rogan. We might not be Mama Butt Claps and whatever the fuck her name is, or Hawk Tui, but I know that we make a fucking great show. And because of fantastic listeners like you, you make it even greater. And you know what? Slowly but surely, every fucking season, this show gets a little bit bigger. Just a little bit. And we are fighting that war. We're down. We're digging in. We're tunnel rats, baby. We're digging down in the dirt. We're in the garbage. We're in the muck. But somehow, we find the strength to keep going. And guess what, kids? We have outwitted, outplayed, and outlasted most podcasts. A lot of people thought that, oh, it's going to be fun. It's the pandemic. We've got nothing to do. We'll start a podcast. But you ain't got nothing. You ain't got shit. I see you motherfuckers on Instagram. I see you on TikTok. You got no personality. Nothing. I know nothing about you. You know everything about me. And when you guys write your fantastic reviews, your fantastic letters to me, I know all about you. But all those other podcasts, they're like flavorless pieces of gum. You're just chewing and sucking down your own spit. Don't taste like nothing. You might not like me. You might think I'm a little too inappropriate, a little too spicy, but you know what? At least I have flavor. And that is more than most people have going for them. And that's the way I'm telling you, you got to live your life. You know what? not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody likes me. Not everybody likes this show. But the people that do make this shit worth it. So thank you. Don't go out like a punk. Go out being you. Be the best version of you. Because I promise you, when it is time for me to come out of my coffin, out of my hibernation, I'm going to give it to you so fucking hard, so raw, that you know nobody can fuck with me. And because of that, nobody can fuck with you. This is The Offering. I'm Jerry Horror. Mostly horror, always genre. See you next season, punk. You've been listening to The Offering with Jerry Horror, produced by Pete Bune. If you have a question or story you want to share with me, we'd love to hear from you. You can email me at theofferingwithjerryhorror@gmail.com, or hit us up on Twitter at theofferingwjh, or hit me up on the Instagram at Jerry Horror. You get the picture? Subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. Join us next time for another Offering.
Chasing worries like a Maya drama twist that shake your core. Every episode, we craving more. Mostly horror, always genre.
This has been a Sick Boy Wolfgang production. Thank you for listening.